Dear children, my name is Pooja Singh and I welcome you all to this video on Geography Chapter 4 Agriculture. In this video, we would learn about the following subtopics: types of economic activities, agriculture, farm system, types of farming, major crops, and agricultural development. Economic activities. There are three types of economic activities: primary, secondary, and tertiary. Primary activities include all those connected with extraction and production of natural resources. Agriculture, fishing, and gathering are good examples. Secondary activities are concerned with the processing of these resources. Manufacturing of steel, baking of bread, and weaving of cloth are examples of this activity. Tertiary activities. Tertiary activities provide support to the primary and secondary sectors through services. Transport, trade, banking, insurance, and advertising are examples of tertiary activities. Agriculture. Agriculture is a primary activity. It includes growing crops, fruits, vegetables, flowers, and rearing of livestock. In the world, 50% of persons are engaged in agricultural activity. Two-thirds of India's population is still dependent on agriculture. Favorable topography of soil and climate are vital for agricultural activity. The land on which the crops are grown is known as arable land. Agricultural activity is concentrated in those regions of the world where suitable factors for the growing of crops exist. Farm system. Agriculture or farming can be looked at as a system. The important inputs are seeds, fertilizers, machinery, and labor. Some of the operations involved are plowing, sowing, irrigation, weeding, and harvesting. The outputs from the system include crops, wool, dairy, and poultry products. Types of farming. Farming is practiced in various ways across the world. Depending upon the geographical conditions, demand of produce, labor, and level of technology, farming can be classified into two main types. These are subsistence farming and commercial farming. Subsistence farming can be further classified as intensive subsistence and primitive subsistence farming. Primitive subsistence agriculture includes shifting cultivation and nomadic herding. Commercial farming includes commercial grain farming, mixed farming, and plantation agriculture. Subsistence farming. This type of farming is practiced to meet the needs of the farmer's family. Traditionally, low levels of technology and household labor are used to produce on small output. Intensive subsistence agriculture. In this type of agriculture, the farmer cultivates a small plot of land using simple tools and more labor. Climate with large number of days with sunshine and fertile soils permit growing of more than one crop annually on the same plot. Rice is the main crop. Other crops include wheat, maize, pulses, and oilseeds. Intensive subsistence agriculture is prevalent in the thickly populated areas of the monsoon regions of South, Southeast, and East Asia. Shifting cultivation. Shifting cultivation is practiced in the thickly forested areas of Amazon basin, tropical Africa, parts of Southeast Asia, and Northeast India. These are the areas of heavy rainfall and quick regeneration of vegetation. A plot of land is cleared by felling the trees and burning them. The ashes are then mixed with the soil and crops like maize, yam, potatoes, and cassava are grown. After the soil loses its fertility, the land is abandoned and the cultivator moves to a new plot. Shifting cultivation is also known as slash and burn agriculture. Nomadic herding. Nomadic herding is practiced in the semi-arid and arid regions of Sahara, Central Asia, and some parts of India like Rajasthan and Jammu and Kashmir. In this type of farming, herdsmen move from one place to another with their animals for fodder and water along defined routes. This type of movement arises in response to climatic constraints and terrain. Sheep, camel, yak, and goats are most commonly reared. They provide milk, meat, wool, hides, and other products to the herders and their families. Commercial farming. In commercial farming, crops are grown and animals are reared for sale in market. The area cultivated and the amount of capital used is large. Most of the work is done by machines. Commercial grain farming. In commercial grain farming, crops are grown for commercial purpose. Wheat and maize are common commercially grown grains. Major areas where commercial grain farming is practiced are temperate grasslands of North America, Europe, and Asia. These areas are sparsely populated with large farms spreading over hundreds of hectares. Severe winters restrict the growing season and only a single crop can be grown. Mixed farming. In mixed farming, the land is used for growing food and fodder crops and rearing livestock. It is practiced in Europe, Eastern USA, Argentina, Southeast Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. Plantations. Plantations are a type of commercial farming where a single crop of tea, coffee, sugarcane, cashew, rubber, banana, or cotton are grown. Large amount of labor and capital are required. The produce may be processed on the farm itself or in nearby factories. The development of a transport network is thus essential for such farming. Major plantations are found in the tropical regions of the world. Rubber in Malaysia, coffee in Brazil, tea in India and Sri Lanka are some examples. Major crops. A large variety of crops are grown to meet the requirement of the growing population. Crops also supply raw materials for agro-based industries. Major food crops are wheat, rice, maize, and millets. Jute and cotton are fiber crops. Important beverage crops are tea and coffee. Let's assess the climatic and soil conditions required for the growth of some major crops. Along with that, we will also see that in which parts of the world these crops are grown. Rice. Rice is the major food crop of the world. It is the staple diet of the tropical and subtropical regions. Rice needs high temperature, high humidity, and rainfall. It grows best in alluvial clay soil, which can retain water. China leads in the production of rice, followed by India, Japan, Sri Lanka, and Egypt. In favorable climatic conditions, as in West Bengal and Bangladesh, 2 to 3 crops are grown in a year. Wheat. Wheat requires moderate temperature and rainfall during growing season and bright sunshine at the time of harvest. It thrives best in well-drained loamy soil. Wheat is grown extensively in USA, Canada, Argentina, Russia, Ukraine, Australia, and India. In India, it is grown in winter. Millets. They are also known as coarse grains and can be grown on less fertile and sandy soils. It is a hardy crop that needs low rainfall and high to moderate temperature and adequate rainfall. Jowar, bajra, and ragi are grown in India. Other countries are Nigeria, China, and Niger. Maize. Maize requires moderate temperature, rainfall, and lots of sunshine. It needs well-drained fertile soils. Maize is grown in North America, Brazil, China, Russia, Canada, India, and Mexico. Cotton. Cotton requires high temperature, light rainfall, 210 frost-free days, and bright sunshine for its growth. It grows best on black and alluvial soils. China, USA, India, Pakistan, Brazil, and Egypt are the leading producers of cotton. It is one of the main raw materials for the cotton textile industry. Jute. Jute was also known as the golden fiber. It grows well on alluvial soil and requires high temperature, heavy rainfall, and humid climate. This crop is grown in the tropical areas. India and Bangladesh are the leading producers of jute. Coffee. Coffee requires warm and wet climate and well-drained loamy soil. Hill slopes are more suitable for growth of this crop. Brazil is the leading producer, followed by Colombia and India. Tea. Tea is a beverage crop grown on plantations. This requires cool climate and well-distributed high rainfall throughout the year for the growth of its tender leaves. It needs well-drained loamy soils and gentle slopes. Labor in large number is required to pick the leaves. Kenya, India, China, Sri Lanka produce the best quality tea in the world. Now we have reached the last topic of this video, agricultural development. Agricultural development refers to efforts made to increase farm production in order to meet the growing demand of increasing population. This can be achieved in many ways, such as increasing the cropped area, the number of crops grown, improving irrigation facilities, use of fertilizers, and high-yielding variety of seeds. Mechanization of agriculture is also another aspect of agricultural development. The ultimate aim of agricultural development is to increase food security. Thank you for watching. Hope you liked this video.